All right, let's get all of that stuff out of the way. Welcome to the studio, everybody. Where today, oh my, everything is on the screen. Where today we're going to paint some Monstera plants. There they are over there. Because I'm completely mad. I've got a giant sheet of paper. Here it's, I don't know, 10 by 16, maybe, I don't know, 10 by 15, something like that. Quite a large piece of paper that I'm going to use to paint this on. This happens to be my Professional Series Bao Hong watercolor paper. It's a little warped to start with. I got it in a roll and kind of laid it out and tried to flatten it a little bit. We're going to have some fun with that, but let's go ahead and jump in and get started with that, or with this. And let's see, I'm still using my King Art brushes here. Woo, this is so far up tonight. Here we go. Maybe the 90-20 series down here. The paints that I have to my right hand side are my M. Graham paints, the ones I love so much. And I'm going to jump right in and get painting with this. Natalie is here. Hello, Natalie. Thank you for joining this evening. I'm going to throw some paint in here. I'm going to start with a little bit of phthalo green, and I'm going to add some Hansa yellow to that and just make this really vibrant yellow color. That's going to be the base color of my big leaf up here at the top, and I need this to be kind of a soupy mixture. I'm going to see if I can paint this and keep a wet edge as I go all the way down. Maybe that's a little brighter than I wanted. We'll just tone that down a little bit. Perfect. Much better, much better. And I don't have to worry about painting individual bits of the leaf where they break or anything like that. This is just getting some color on here right now. This is the challenge painting for this month. Monstera. I don't know if anybody had an opportunity to paint it on their own. Oh, I do know one person had an opportunity to paint it on their own, or at least one. So I hope you had some fun with that. I want to talk about why I missed last week. I didn't mean to miss last week. I didn't want to miss last week. Somebody was nice enough to loan me their COVID last week, and so I was laid up in bed a little bit sick. I have so many projects going currently that I haven't done the Monstera. Natalie, I get it. I get it. I get it. Life, it gets busy, right? It's all good. It's there just to be fun and give you something to focus on and do. If you're like me, oftentimes part of the problem of sitting down and painting is deciding what you're going to paint. So part of the exercise is for me to take that away from you. Right? I'll give you something to paint with. All you have to do is the painting part of it. Hopefully that makes it a little bit easier, a little bit more fun in some respects. It doesn't, well, we'll reevaluate. Susie did do a lovely painting. Ooh, I'm just going to keep going with this. I'm realizing how large this is. I wanted to do I have this piece of paper, and it's this wide. Right, it's 12 inches wide, 11 inches wide, something like that. I was like, I'll just do it. I'll just take that, use that as the width, and then I wasn't paying attention to where I cut it off, and I think I got a little bit bigger of a piece than I really wanted to. That's okay. That's okay. We can work with it. just have to work a little quickly, I think, is all good. Whoa, Natalie, you just got a new part-time job. Nice. You're teaching some classes at the craft room space. Do you care to share what classes you're teaching? It sounds like a lot of fun. I would love to, if I ever find myself brave enough to retire from my full-time job, I'm definitely going to look into something like that, where I can teach a class locally. Something. It sounds like a lot of fun. Well, first of all, congratulations. I didn't see that, actually, so thanks for bringing that up. That's exciting. That's exciting news. I would love to do that. Ooh, I got a little run there. So I'm understanding this paper a little bit more. When I turn it, this is an interesting thing about this paper. When I turn it, my bead of water doesn't run like it does on other pieces of paper. It kind of just hangs out there a little bit more. I think that's because there's just a little bit more surface tension. And this is the second painting I've had that I've had a little bead kind of hang around there and kind of go over the edge where I wanted it to go to. It's not the paper, it's me. I need to learn how the paper likes to feel the water on it. That's a me thing. I'm putting together samples for a watercolor card making class. All right. Well, that's very exciting. Now I want to come and take a class. I'm gonna drive there. I'm gonna take a vacation day and drive there and show up in one of your classes. Well, that's fantastic. I don't have any news nearly as exciting as that. I really don't. Oh, I do think that sounds exciting. I have a new guy, a new team member starting tomorrow, actually, and I've known him for almost a year, but he'll be new on my team. And he asked me. He goes, "I'm looking for a new hobby. Do you have anything you could? Is there anything you do for hobbies around here?" I went, "Yeah, I kind of have. Kind of have a hobby." So today, he came to see me today. I had to do a little bit of, get him a key for the office and whatnot. So I gave him a little watermelon, oh my gosh, a watercolor little kit. Susie's here, hello! Got up one comment, and putting together sample watercolor, got up one comment. Got up one comment. I think I'm not understanding what got up one comment is. Oops, I think I just painted over one of the holes on here. One of the things that makes these so interesting and cool, I think I just painted over one of the holes. Oh well. We'll figure it out. There are others. I'm really trying to just lay down a base of color here. What this is going to end up being is, of course, a base layer, but more than that, go up one comment. Go up one comment. I'm putting together samples for a watercolor card making. Oh, last week I taught 2 youth classes. Oh, geez. We beaded bracelets one day and made envelope journals next. Ooh! That does sound fun. I am going to come and take your class. That's fantastic. So here's a question for you. How do you get that job? Did somebody come and ask you to teach it, or did you actually have to apply for it? Got up one level, go up one level. Ooh, my eyes are tired, obviously. I read a lot. I'm at the computer all day at my day job. And some days, I hate to say it, my eyes aren't really up for the task. I come home and my eyes are sore and red. Most days I do pretty well, though. All right, here we're coming. Oh, seems like I've been doing this for 10 minutes. I have been doing it for 10 minutes. I've been doing it for 12 minutes. We're coming to the end of our first layer here. And I'm going to do a little quick check here to see how many people we have here. We'll get 6 people in. Okay, ooh, already looks pretty nice. Let's see. I saw the place advertised and stopped in to talk with the owner. She just happened to be needing some help. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay. Already, here's what I like about this. And Tracy's here. Hello, Tracy. Thank you for stopping by. Here's what I like about this already. Right? Oh, my Lord. Look, it's as giant as my hand. This is such a big sheet of paper. Across the whole thing, I hope you guys can see it, it's really light up here. It's got some darker bluer greens over here, more of the phthalos, more of, I put some ochre in up here. Already it's got some color changing going on there. So I'm very much enjoying that. My plan was, I'm just going to tell you, is I was going to do this bit and then let this dry. Is my mic up to? I just looked up and everything is totally red on my mic. I might be blasting into your ears a little too much. And then I was going to do another leaf, and then I was going to do another leaf. But seeing how long it took to do this one, I'm hoping that I can do this one down here while that one is drying. We'll do this a little darker, a little different color. And then we'll do this one a little darker, a little different color on its own. So while we're waiting for this to come back and put our second layer on, I'm going to come down and do this one. I'm going to use the same phthalo green as my base for this, but I'm going to mix in, let's see. Well, that's a great question. What do I want to mix in? Let's do this. Let me get a piece of scrap paper. I must have one here somewhere. Okay, cool. Scrap paper. And if I mix in a little bit of phthalo blue, I'm going to get something that's roughly that color. And if I mix in something that is ultramarine blue, I'm going to get something slightly different color. I hope you can see the differences in the two. I think I'm going to go with ultramarine mixed in. That's really blue. That phthalo blue is so strong. Let's do that. So phthalo green a little ultramarine blue in there. Shoot, this won't do anything. Well, it'll do a little bit. It'll make it a little less transparent, but I can mix in, neutral tint. Oh, why didn't I think of neutral tint? I might be able to squeeze a little neutral tint in here. This is too much pigment. I gotta thin that way down. Way down. Come on, Michael. If I can make it look like it just kind of goes behind that leaf, so much the better. Doesn't need to do much, just that little bit. That's actually a nice color. I like it. So, what was I going to say? Next week is the 4th of July, I believe, right? Right? Is anybody doing anything exciting for the 4th of July? Oh, I have to ask this. Because this is all the news at my house. Does anybody watch, I guess it's true crime, or listen to true crime? I more try to listen to podcasts about true crime. But my wife has gotten me hooked, and I've been listening to podcasts about the Karen Read trial. Does anybody follow the Karen Read trial? Anybody? I'm just curious. I will admit to being fascinated by the case. Completely fascinated. Is my family all recovered? I am happy to say that we are, mostly. We are. We are, I'm going to say mostly, right? So if you listen to me, you can hear a little bit in my voice where there's a little bit of, what do you call it? A little bit of something in my throat. My wife is still coughing a little bit here and there, but far and away, the worst of everything is long behind us. Thankfully, right? It was pretty bad, I have to say. I got home from work on Tuesday last week, and I was like, I don't feel all that great, and I started to get a headache. I'm like, I don't feel good. And then I woke up Wednesday, which I had off of work. And I hate being sick on days I have off of work and can't enjoy an off day. But I think I probably didn't get out of bed until 3 in the afternoon or so. It was pretty tough. I just felt exhausted. My body felt heavy. Then my throat kind of kicked in with things. My wife complained that her limbs felt really heavy, and of course she's tired. My kids, similar things, right? It just knocked us for a loop a little bit. But yes, thank you for asking. We are all feeling much better, on the mend, and ready all to tackle whatever life has for us again. I missed 2 days of work. I don't like missing work. I missed 2 days. That's okay. Ooh, there you go. Look at that one. So this one's got a little different color on it too. It's a little greener down here and a little bluer up here. That's kind of cool. Your sister and brother-in-law both have it this week. Oh, It's it's going around. I read on the news this morning that there are 3 simultaneous strains of it that are going around and are causing people to get sick, which doesn't make me feel good because I don't want to get it again. That would be horrible. Susie, you made a swatch card of all the colors in your palette and a neutral tint. It was interesting to see the mixes. Interesting, because neutral tint. So, okay, let me ask you this: which neutral tint? What manufacturer of neutral tint are you using? Because my M-Grams are a little purple tinted, purple biased. Right? I know others are slightly different, so I'm really curious. I think that's probably dry enough up here. I'm gonna go back and make some more of this yellowy, orangey, ochre yellow mixture here. Ooh, that's nice. And Winsor Newton neutral tint. Okay. Talk to me about Winsor Newton neutral tint. What's it like? I'm pre-wetting this. I've learned my lesson with cotton paper. I'm going to pre-wet this so that when I drop my colors in here, it's going to go exactly where I want it to. Just go where I want you to go and nowhere else. We should be able to get some really pretty dramatic leaves here without doing too much work. We're gonna let the paint do most of the work for us. Winsor Newton Professional. Is it gray bias? Is it blue bias? I should look it up real quickly. Ooh, I like the look of that. Now is this dry? This is pretty dry. I'm gonna come down here, and I'm just kind of blocking out the different areas in between the stems in here. So just those leaf portions, and I'm re-wetting that. Because I want that to get some beautiful color on it. It's pretty gray bias. Okay, cool. I'm sorry, I have to be quiet. I'm concentrating. Sometimes I can't talk and paint at the same time. It's a character flaw. Not being able to paint and talk at the same time. I wish I could always. I can't do it. Yeah, there we go. Look at let the color just come out. It's a pretty neutral tint. Well, okay, fair enough, but there are neutrals that aren't all that neutral. Right? There are some neutrals that are a little less neutral than neutral. Whoops, I don't want to get my finger in there. Ooh, I'm going to let that get yellowy as it comes out. If yellowy is a word, I'm going to let it do that. That kind of looks as though you can see a fold in that leaf, or it bends over anyways, right? Oh, I think so. I think so. I was very excited. I got to. Oh, I was gonna say I do have a couple of other things I want to show you all. Upcoming things, upcoming projects. Think we talked about who talked about painting or drawing, painting architecture last time. Was that here? Somebody mentioned it. I went out and gathered some pictures of a couple of cool places around here and drew them up, and I'm gonna do a few paintings of them. A couple of them you can take a look at and see. They're beautiful places. One place is just a little south of here. It's called Edna Valley, and I don't know how many people live in Edna Valley. 8? I don't know. It's really not very big. We don't do much there other than have a winery, a gift shop, and they do weddings there. But the general store there is beautiful. So I grabbed a picture of it, and I'm going to do a painting of it because it's like a stunning throwback, 100 years or something like that. Okay, cool. I like that. All right, that's bent over. You can see it like that. I got some nice color on here, on this one. Actually, what I want to do here, I want to do this because this one to me looks like it's bent over the opposite way. Right. Like that. And then probably a bit darker over here. I should be telling you all exactly the colors I'm using to do this. I looked up the Winsor Newton neutral tint. Okay. It's made of phthalo blue, PB15. Yep. And phthalo violet, or quinacridone violet. Oh, God, I can't even read. Quinacridone violet 19 and lamp black, but you don't see much of it violet in it. Interesting. So I just look up here. Whoops. My phthalo blue is PB15 also. Whoa. I guess I don't need to show it to the microphone. There you go. My phthalo blue is PB15, which is interesting. I'll just set that there. But it does have some violet tendencies, but not super visible. Interesting. The more I do this, the more I think I'm just some big paint dork, because that's interesting to me. That's interesting that you would have the paint, it would have the violet like that in it, but it really not be. Somebody sees it, right? Somebody sees it. Not you or I, a professional sees it, but it's obviously there, or they've needed it there, or they wouldn't have put it in there. I'm just so curious and so interesting on all of that. All right, let's get some more colors going here. Drop some in. Oh, A little bit more. I have to keep checking to see I don't want to put my hand on an area where I'm going to get into the water. Really kind of don't want to do that. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit over here. I think this will stay just wet, just long enough to go there. I do have to say, this is one of the cool things about this cotton paper, this professional cotton paper. The length of time it stays wet is astounding, and it gives you a ton of workability in whatever you do. Right? You can get it wet and go with it. Come back 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, a minute later, it's still probably going to be just damp enough that it's workable to do a lot of stuff with it. Just so forgiving. So forgiving. There, that kind of looks like that's bent over. I'm not trying to... Ooh, actually, that looks pretty nice. I realize I go, ooh, a lot. I look on here, and I go, oh, it looks nice, it looks nice, it looks nice. Then I look up at up on my screen, I'm like, wow, it looks nice. It's like I surprised myself with it. Wow, check it out. I don't know if that means the hallmark of good painting or just fun painting, but it's probably something we all ought to be surprised with a little bit more often. Oh, look, it looks great. Put a little bit of color on the outside there. Oh, this is so nice to be able to do this. It feels like, because, so I'm going to make an observation here, and you guys can tell me if I'm right on board or if I'm completely off base. But I don't do a whole lot of larger paintings, right? You guys don't often see me do anything bigger than 8.5 by 11, 9 by 12, right? I don't do a whole lot that's bigger than that. But I got this paint, and I do have some larger sheets of paper, and people have told me a long time, you got to paint bigger, and I keep going, no, I don't want to paint bigger, Right? Bigger brings in this whole other layer of complexity and whatnot. But as I'm doing this, I'm looking at this, I can totally see that if I were to paint other things a bit larger, not everything has to be huge, but that you could easily get in some of this cool coloring like that much more easily on a larger scale than you could on something that's much smaller. Let's see, when we go to upstate New York for our vacation next month, I'm thinking I'm going to the Golden Manufacturing for a tour. Ooh, I hope they give you free samples. How nice would that be? Are they? Oh, they're in Rochester, something like that. That would be a fun trip. That would be a blast. This is gonna be like part of my team at work. Okay, Natalie, you're approved to go and tour the core factory. Take the tour. Let us know what you found, and if you could just report back to the rest of the team what you found, so that we all know what we have ahead of us. That'd be fantastic. Wait a minute. None of your friends there paint? Natalie, what's up with your friends? They must be willing to go with you though, right? Come on. I would hope. It's not always about what you do. It's about spending time with people who want to do different things. New Berlin, it's considered central New York. A long ways from Rochester. Why was I thinking it was in Rochester? God, I don't... Okay. Well, I'm wrong a lot. I'm okay with being wrong. Something told me it was in... Well, whatever. Cool. It actually sounds like a lot of fun. And you can color me jealous. Because I wish I could go. What I do, I hope you have a wonderful time. And I hope your friends come to their senses and go, you know what? Let's just go. It's probably be a fun trip. And that they all go along with you. Because it seems like it'd be pretty cool. It does seem like it would be pretty cool. Oh, I love some of the colors that are coming through in here. Some of the gradations on here look wonderful. Right, I like it. I don't know how long this is going to take to paint, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. You know what, though? This is just a line. I don't want this to be just a line here. There, let's do that. That was bothering me a little bit. It kind of bothers me right here, too. I have just a line. I don't want just a line. I want more than that. It's a very rural area. That's okay. I grew up in a very rural area. I kind of still live in a very rural area. Rural to me is one of those weird words. Kind of a funny word, but oops, I gotta get some water on here. Most of my friends will be working. Work. How dare you get in the way? Work seems to get in the way of a lot of things. So now I'm looking at my numbers up here, or I just looked at my numbers up here. Now I'm all disappointed. I'm like, oh no, there's only 6-7 people here. This is I'm like, this is turning out to be one of the cooler paintings. We need more people here to see it. That's all right. We got the good people here. We've got the good ones here. So I'm going to put a little bit more blue down here. Maybe a little bit more yellow up here. Oh, it really is coming to life. I mean, not too much. We haven't done much. It sure does. Thank you. Oh, I think it's looking great. Might actually make me want to paint larger from here on out too. So this is kind of a funny thing. I think everybody knows I took that one painting class. Well, I took two. It was the same class. I took it twice. I finished it, God, what is almost 2 years ago now. And this was one of my assignments, was to paint leaves. And I did a Monstera, because that was required. And then I did a banana leaf just because I thought it was neat. And I didn't like this much at all. I was like, I don't want to paint a Monstera leaf. You know, grumbling under my breath. But I love the banana leaf. I thought the banana leaf was really neat. And then, I don't know, 6 months ago or 8 months ago, I was doing some cleaning in the studio, as I do every now and again, and I saw that Monstera painting, and I was like, I gotta find a way to do this again. I was like, maybe I didn't give this a fair shake. I think it looks lovely. I think it's turning out great. I'm super happy with the way this is looking. And I should also say now that I do have a Monstera plant here in the studio. It's over here. And if I'm being honest, it's a little out of control. It started about this big and now it's gigantic, and I'm not sure what to name it. And I have two of them in my office at work. I haven't named those either. If you have any names that you think might be nice, you want to throw them out there, would entertain some names. This is a sponsorship opportunity. Name the plant without having to pay for a sponsorship. This is like name your local sports team stadium or something, but without needing to have a sports team or a stadium. While I've got this upside down, this is so big. my keyboard is up there, and it's got to sit just on my desk. If it doesn't, it's going to fall off onto the ground. But this paper's so big on here that it won't stay. I can't. Eddie Monstera. I like it. I like that. That's a good one. Eddie Monstera. Uh-oh, that's too much blue. I should have. Let's see if I can get some of that off. Eddie. I could call him Eddie. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow on here. Put some mix in there. Does anybody else name their plants? I shouldn't. I name just about everything. I think you give it a name, it humanizes it a little bit. It helps to create a little bit of a connection. So I name all kinds of things. And maybe I shouldn't. This is mostly, these colors here, mostly just, I'm going to turn this back around so you can see it here in just a second. Okay, mostly just, It might not exactly be where I wanted that bend to be in here. I have friends who name their cars. So I named my car. My car has the least manly name ever. And I'm totally fine with it. My car's the Mouse. The name of my car is the Mouse. We gotta go somewhere. We gotta take the Mouse. Take the Mouse. Let's go in the Mouse. What I should tell you, it's a tiny little Fiat 500, and I absolutely adore that little car. It's a fantastic little tiny car. That little Fiat. It has gotten me to work reliably every day for a decade. Never put a foot wrong. I love that little car. Siddique is here. Okay. I've named some cars. One was Zippy. All right. Zippy the car. I like Zippy the car. Siddique, welcome. Welcome. I'm just talking through a few things here as I paint my Monstera. We're trying to brainstorm a name for the Monstera plant I have here in the studio. If you want to take a crack at naming the plant, that'd be cool. If not, that's cool too. And then I was just saying how my cars, love my little car. I call my car the Mouse. It's a little tiny Fiat 500. It's gray. And that little tiny car with those big headlights. It always looks kind of like it's surprised. It's got these little headlights that sit off the front like, woo! What's going on here? So we call it the Mouse. And despite its diminutive name, it's a fantastic little car. My car's all electric. And like I said, for 10 years, I've had the car for 10 years. Almost 10 years. It's never gone wrong a day, which is surprising given that it's an Italian car, and it's gotten me to work reliably. The only thing I've had to do is change tires on it, and that's it. Love that little car. Let me turn this around so you all can see what I'm working on, and I'm having a little fun with just some general shading. So got a couple people who came in late, I believe. Liza, Dana. No, Liza, you've been here. Dana. So I put on this base color, and now I'm just going over and darkening it and putting a second layer on here. Actually, the way it's looking on here, I might not even need to do a third layer. If I do, it would just be some small amount, right? Just some very small touch up on here because it's looking really good. I'm using my, what did I say this was? Bao-Hong artist grade watercolor paper. And I'm happy to talk about this. If anybody wants to hear about it, I'll give you my opinion on it, such as it is so far. It's turning out to be quite nice paper. It's I thought it was going to be quite soft, but it has an interesting texture. And when I say soft, here's what I'm talking about. People used to say Fiat stands for fix it again, Tony. Yes. That's okay, right? That's okay. It doesn't matter to me. Anybody can make fun of my car. I make fun of my car a little bit. But it's a lovely little car. It's got so much spunk and personality. It's hard not to like it. Little electric car. It's only got, in reality, at this point in its life, it's only got about a 50 or 60 mile range. That gets me to work and back plenty left over to tool around to the grocery store or wherever I need to go. And then it fully charges overnight here at home. Never have to stop at the gas station to fill up. Spend a lot less on my electricity than I ever used to at the gas station. And what's more is it's got all the amenities that I want on any other car. So it's lovely. Nightmare car. So I say it's such a lovely car, fully knowing that for the years that this car was out, it was considered the least reliable car in America. Some of the poorest build quality. And I'm going to tell you, there are a few issues, but they're little niggles compared to the overall niceness of this car. And now I know I was talking about something else. I forgot all about it. Ooh, you have a Suzuki Subaru Outback. Love the car. Got it after trading my 14-year-old Toyota Camry. Your all-time favorite. Wow. Why does he have a Honda Fit? Oh, I like those. 12 years, no problems ever. There you go. I love little cars. Little cars often have such cool personality. The Honda Fit. I do like that little car. One of my coworkers, his wife has a Honda Fit. He doesn't actually have a car. He rides his bicycle to work. His wife has a Honda Fit, and last time, let's see, she I was about to say she just got over being pregnant, which she did. The last time she used it for a long time, she went to the ocean to do some surfing. I think she was like 11 months pregnant. 7 months pregnant. If she was 11 months pregnant, that would have been an issue. That would have been a big issue. Your Fit is bright red. Everybody can see it coming. Good. My love of little cars. Everybody hates this car too, but I grew up with my first car, and it was the car my mother had purchased when I was in elementary school, junior high school. I don't know. Well, let's see. It was 1976. I guess I would have been in elementary school. But she got the Ford Mustang II. The same one that was on Charlie's Angels. And cream colored, luggage rack, Landau roof, the whole works. It had a 4-cylinder engine in it that produced probably 80 horsepower. It wasn't very much, I know that. 0 to 60 was about 3.5 days. But it didn't matter. It was a fun car. It was cool. And what's more, it was on TV. My Zippy was a RAV, and we loved it. Oh no! Until your son burned out the clutch. You can always get a new Sun. I think that's too bad. I mean, you can always get a new clutch. Maybe you can get a new Sun too. I don't know. Told my son I was going to trade him in. Send him back. The warranty's up. We need a replacement. That didn't go over well. Did get a few laughs. Your first car was a Beetle. Oh no, I hate the Beetle. I do love the Triumph TR7 though. I do like the TR7. Lovely car. A 5-speed manual transmission piece of junk. It was fun to drive. Well, yes, it's a Triumph. Let me guess. It burned oil at such a rate that you had to put oil in it. You didn't change the oil. You just put more oil in it every time you put gas in it. You always had to have a piece of cardboard underneath the car when you parked it at home because it dripped so much. What was everybody's first car? Mine was a Duster. Wow. I would love to have a Duster. Oh, a Duster would be fun. Mine was the Mustang. Love that. I've had 5 Mustangs, a 1965 Mercedes-Benz. Wow. That's cool. Mine was a Duster too, 1974, 3 on the tree. Oh my god. Oh, DK. Oh, your Beetle engine cracked. Oh. 3 on the tree. I tried to explain that to somebody that I work with, what that is, and they're like, I don't understand. 3 on the tree, what does that mean? I'm like, how do you not understand what 3 on a tree is? 3-speed on the, I almost said drive shaft, on the steering wheel column. That's the tree. There's your 3 on a tree. My father had a 1978 Dodge pickup truck that was 3 on a tree. And while it was terrible to drive, it was fun to drive because it was terrible to drive. And shifting in it was just out of control. First, second, third, in reverse. Oh, what people today, kids today, they don't get to have fun like that. Oh, the crack was in the TR7. Oh, that's even worse. But it looked beautiful. But the TR7 was a beautiful looking car. It's just too bad it was made in Great Britain. Nothing against Great Britain, but their cars in the 60s and 70s and even into the 80s were just not much. The Benz was a 4-speed in the steering wheel. Wow. Okay. That's even better. That's fantastic. 4-speed on the steering column. I like it. That's outstanding. All right, let's hope we can duplicate a little bit of the magic down here that we got up here. I love the way this looks. Look, there's so many color variations and differences and highlights and lowlights and everything. Looks so neat. So cool. The TR7 was easy to find in a snowstorm, the only snow pile that looked like a wedge of cheese. Okay, so here I have a question for you. Uh-oh, I think I went too far on this one. With your wedge of cheese, was it, I'm assuming, because almost all of them were, was it a convertible? And how often did you ever put the convertible top up? I almost bought, well, not a TR7, a TR6, but, you know, very similar car. And the guy I bought it from was like, I don't think I've ever put the roof up. He goes, it's here. It's in there. I don't think I've ever put it up. I go, what about when it rains? He goes, yeah, the rain mostly goes over the top. You don't have to worry about it too much. I'm like, yeah, about that. Not a convertible. Wow. Wow. It's even more interesting. Not a convertible. We just sold our son's old beater truck. We had over 1,000 responses on Facebook because the price was low and it was still ran. Even though barely. Hey, barely running is still running. It counts. Totally counts. Not liking this blue that's in here is throwing me off a little bit. I'm not totally loving the colors on this one down here yet. I liked this color when I put it on to begin with, and now just not quite as certain about it. But we're gonna make it work. We're totally gonna make this one work. Totally gonna make this work. A little bit of this green, a little bit of this blue, a little bit of this olive green, just to tone that down a bit. Open front window vents in my VW work better than the TR7's air conditioner. My Mustang didn't even have an air conditioner. My air conditioner was the roll down windows. That was it. That was my air conditioner. In fact, my next car didn't have air conditioning. Oh, that might not be true. My next car actually was quite a nice car. I went from a 76 Mustang. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'll admit there was a little bit of a drop off. I went from a 76 Mustang to an 88 Mustang GT because I do love Mustangs. And here's where the drop off comes in. Then I went to I had to take a little step back. I went back to an 85 Escort, which was a pinkish red color. But I at least have a funny story about it. I guess that's the only saving grace of that car. I had an old Cutlass 4-speed that came with glass packs, so it was loud. Wow. Wow. Glass packs. I wonder if you said glass pack to a millennial, if they would even know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure my kids would have no idea what glass packs are. I can't believe they would have any idea. Well, here's some noises outside. Actually, I'm getting used to this bluish color. It's a little darker than I wanted, but look, it's got some real interest to it. Right, I think that bit of olive green here is kind of saving it. It's kind of got some interest. I don't think it's nearly as neat as that up there, but it's got some interest to it. I'm going to go with it. This is going to look so good when this is done. Oh, I'm going to be so happy with this. It's going to be this is going to be the best challenge yet. So I was thinking about what to do for the next challenge. Right? Oh, Born Again Farm Girl's here. Hello! My first car was a 1974 blue Dodge Dart, and there's someone else's underwear and old socks holding on my driver's seat. Oh, no! No, 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 no. Oh. Oh. Here, I'll give you a funny story about my car. This is not my first car. Hey, I used to drag down Whittier Boulevard. The cops didn't look, so I got a ticket once for loud pipes. Kids nowadays don't even know what lug nut wrench is. That might be true. That might be true. So at some point, right, I was in my early 20s, and I'd gone over after work. I'd gone over to my buddy's house, and as kids do, right, we were drinking beer and playing video games. And at some point, I kind of recognized the time. Right, it was 2 a.m, 3 a.m, something like that. Okay, so stick with me on this story here, because it goes on for just a little bit. So I only lived 6 miles away from him, 7 miles away from him, something like that. Maybe not even that far. It wasn't very far. Anyways, at the time, I had my old, I had an 88 Mustang GT, lovely car. Love that car. Love the Fox body Mustang. So got in my car and drove home. All well and good. Parked my car in my parking spot at my apartment. Went in, went to bed. Right? All really normal so far. Woke up in the morning, 3 hours later, to go to work. Walked out, and my car's gone. So, never the first thing that you think of is your car's been stolen, right? It's just not the first thing you think of. Well, it wasn't the first thing I thought of either. So, walked around the block. I'm like, well, I must have parked it just around the block here somewhere. Maybe I wasn't thinking straight, and I didn't park it where I thought I parked it. So I walked around the block a little bit. No car. That's weird. Walk back over to my parking spot. Yeah, definitely no car there. But something shiny caught my eye. Oh, I looked down. There's bits of glass down on the ground. Great. Somebody busted the windshield, hot wired my car. Maybe they followed me home or something like that. Followed me home, stole my car. Great. Call work. Not going to make it in today. Call the police. They come out and they take a a report, right? A theft report, everything. All well and good. Get a rental car while I'm looking for a new car. And I had driven down to the local library to check out a book or movie or something like that. You know, still all well and good. I'm driving home, doing the speed limit, not breaking any kind of a law, and all of a sudden, lights go on behind me. I'm like, oh man, what did I do? I pull over. It's the same police officer that wrote me the ticket. Now this is not in like where I live now. And there are, 6 police officers in the whole town. This was Columbus, Ohio. I just graduated from Ohio State. And I don't know how big their police force is. Thousands of police officers. So to have the same guy pull me over, I thought was pretty coincidental. Anyways, he pulls me over and he goes, your license plate is expired. And I'm like, dude, it's not my car. And he's like, what? You're driving a stolen car? I'm like, no. Listen, remember last week you came to my house, my apartment, and took a report because somebody stole my Mustang. And he's like, oh, I do remember you. I'm like, cool. Can I go since you know it's not my car? He's like, nope. No can do. You still got to get tags for your car. Oh, man. I'm like, well, I don't know what you want me to do. That's not my car. I can't get tags for it. He's like, are you in a big hurry to get out of here? I'm like, well, no. I'm just going home and going to, watch whatever I rented or, read a book or whatever I had. He goes, I'm going to call the insurance company and have them send somebody out here to put the registration tag on your car right now. And I'm like, okay. So I'm waiting on the side of the highway, talking to the police officer who originally took the report for my car for like an hour until the insurance company got there to change the tags out on my car. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's a story I'm going to have for forever. Oh, Born Again Farm Girl, you're saying I'm really brought that leaf together. Are you talking to this blue one, this blue monstrosity on the bottom, or this green one on the top? The green one on the top, I think, really looks good. This one's got its own personality. Down here, this one, it's going to look better once we get all of it filled in. But I think that's pretty stunning up there. I just had the wrong base color on the one down here. Anyway, that's my funny car story. Those were the days. That was my funny car story. Oh, I don't want too much color on there. Oh, that same car. I had gone home to see my dad, and my dad lived, that's service, that was service. My dad lived 3 hours away, so I'd driven home to see him, and I used to like to drive at night for whatever reason, not nearly so much anymore, but at the time, I would typically leave his house, I don't know, like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever. Whenever he would go to bed, and then I would drive through the night, and I would just get up and go to school the next morning, or go to work, or whatever I needed to do. Right? Well, I was still in school at the time, and I stayed till the next day, and drove home that morning, and then I was like, man, I'm going to get down to school and work really late. I better kind of step on it a little bit. And I stepped on it, and I got pulled over doing about, I don't know, 95 in a 55. I was moving. I was screaming, and the cop pulled me over. And we've all done it, right? Oh, what am I going to say? What do I say to the guy? What do I say to the guy? What can I say? Is there anything I could possibly say that's going to get me out of a ticket? So it pulls me over, comes up to the window, goes, "Hey, do you know you're speeding?" "Yep, totally know I'm speeding." Why are you going so fast?" "Well, I'm going so fast because I'm in school at Ohio State, and I've got a class coming up at whatever time, 10 o'clock, make up a time. I don't really remember what the time was. I got a class then, and I can't miss it because I need to make up some work in it, blah, 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 right? Whole sob story. The guy looks at his watch, he looks at me, and he goes, "If you drive 55 the rest of the way, you'll get there with about 10 minutes to spare." I said, "Thank you, sir." And I took off, and he was exactly right. There was no chance I was going to speed the rest of the way. Yeah, he was exactly right. I got there with about 10 minutes to spare. The Born Again Farm go, "You like the one on the bottom down here?" Cool. It's getting there, right? It's getting there. I'm liking the paper. I will say, I'm going to be honest a little bit here. I'm liking the paper. I'm liking the features of the paper. Let me say it that way. I'm liking the features of the paper. I like that I can get this wet. I can pre-wet this, and it's going to stay pretty damp regardless of what I do. I'm not sure that I like exactly what the texture is doing. The texture on it's a little, I would call it wonkadoodle. A little wonky. It's causing some weird lines, especially down here. Up here too. I could lift it up and I could show you if you want to see, if you want me to explain what I'm talking about. A little bit of weirdness, but overall, I gotta say, it's really not that bad. For some relatively inexpensive paper, are you using the artist grade or student grade? This is the artist grade paper. This is the artist grade paper. It's got a little deeper tooth to it. The properties of the two are about the same. There's not a whole lot of difference there, right? You can get them wet. You got plenty of time to work with the colors and whatnot, but it's I don't know, along the edges it's drying a little strangely, and I feel the need to come back and re-tighten up some of the lines, right? Probably if I didn't ever zoom in or didn't mention it, probably nobody would say anything about it. Nobody would notice it but me. But there are a couple of areas where it just seems a little off. And I don't mean off-putting, just a little off. The texture is drying. The texture is nice. Other than this bit here where I kind of put my hand in it. I didn't let it dry. Right there. That's kind of a hallmark of mine. You know, me and Jackson Pollock, we both kind of do that same thing. Can't believe I just compared myself to Jackson Pollock. One of the all-time greats. Whether you like his stuff or not, he did a lot to revolutionize art. One of the all-time artists. I shouldn't even be in the same breath with him. We've all done it. We have all done it. It's one of those things, right? It's one of those things. If you haven't done it, you're not doing it right. That's probably the thing to say. And this down here, I'm going to say this is really, this whole plant down here is ultramarine blue. Let's get this on record here. A little bit of ultramarine blue. A little bit of, excuse me, a little bit of phthalo green. There's maybe a little bit of either a yellow ochre or some Hansa yellow in here. Not much. And there's some olive green in here also. That's it. There's not a whole lot of different colors in here, and we're able to get a pretty good difference in the look from just those few colors. Right, that's kind of neat. You think Jackson Pollock just had a lot of happy accidents? Yeah, right. He certainly was unconventional. He certainly didn't play by anybody else's rules. And if you look at his stuff, you go, anybody can do that. But not anybody could just do it, right? If anybody could do it, everybody would do it. So I'm going to give the guy, a bit of credit. He kind of revolutionized the way we think about art and approach it in some instances. It's not easy to be a leader like that. But yeah, he had some interesting thoughts on, everything. Ooh, okay. All right. I got to say, born again farm girl. Looking at this in total, the one down here, I like it. It's grown on me. I'm going to straighten out a little bit of here just to make this vein a little straighter. Just tighten up these edges a little bit. It doesn't need to be a lot. I think that'll help out quite a bit. There's a couple on this side too that I think just that the warp of the paper didn't allow it to get exactly right. All right, that's got some cool interest to it too. Everything but this spot right here. I'm going to go back. Oh, can I get in here without screwing everything up? Everything except for that spot right there. Now, let's see if I can feather that out. Okay. Ooh, I think that looks better. Okay, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. See, now I wish I'd only done two. Now I got a whole nother leaf to do over here. Oh, this is going to be the hard one too. So this color has to be different than this color and different than this color. So what do we do with that color? I think you've mastered green, which I don't know if I've mastered green. I'll tell you what I've mastered is picking the green for my palette. How's that? Because I can't take credit for mixing a whole lot of this green. I just know that the greens that I have on my palette, I'm used to using. Oh man, you can't even see my palette. There you go. I'm used to having these greens on my palette and used to using these greens on my palette. So it's not like I really made these greens on my own. I'd love to take credit for it, but I can't really. All right, so we got one more to do. So I used phthalo green for the base of both of these, right? This was phthalo green. Look at the size of that. It's bigger than my hand. This one is phthalo green with some Hansa yellow in there, some Hansa yellow. This one was phthalo green with a little bit of ultramarine in it. This one, I'm not going to use phthalo green. I'm going to use my cobalt green with a little bit of yellow in it. So we're going to kind of do a three-way of green here. Right? And let's see how this turns out. And that should give us a nice wide variety of colors. If you look over there, those three leaves all have slightly different colors of green. This should give us slightly different colors of green and allow us to have something that's really kind of interesting. Leslie, you get stuck on set greens because they are so artificial. Yeah. And you don't know how to fix it. I can help you fix it. Just mix it. There you go. Look, I rhymed it. I can help you fix it. Just mix it. The most artificial green that you're ever going to run across. Well, okay, maybe that's not a true statement, but one of the most is phthalo green, right? Some people might consider Viridian to be one of the most gonzo greens or something like that. But I always think phthalo green is just the most unnatural green you're ever going to use, you're ever going to want to use. But I think as long as I'm painting, I'll probably always have it on my palette because it mixes really well with other colors. And when you mix it with other colors, you get some cool results. And I need to figure out where this leaf is. I guess it's here. I drew it in, and I know where it was when I drew it, and I've done it wrong. Oh, can I get that off? Let's see if I can get that off. Come off of there. That's pretty close. Clean water. Clean. Oh, I think that's going to be fine. Nobody will ever notice that I screwed up royally. I just went out of the lines a little bit. It'll be fine. Nobody will notice. That comes down. This is all one here, which means this is all one here. That's part of that, and then we'll color that in too. Cool. Now don't tell anybody I messed up, please. It's all good. It's all good. We can actually make this a little brighter down here. I don't want to get this too dark. This is one of those areas where I know that I struggle a little bit. I start to see some color on the page, and I want to add color onto the page. When I don't really want to add color, I want to leave it light so I can add color later. That's a me thing. We're going to get there. Uh-oh. Somebody said something. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check out what you said. A hole right there. And a hole right there. So I've got to go around And that's probably too saturated. There we go. Ooh, we're looking good. We're looking good. Now this back leaf really is going to be a challenge in here. It's going to be a fun challenge, but it's going to be a challenge nonetheless. Because not only do we have to paint the leaf, but we've got to paint around the other leaves too. So this will be fun. A little bit there and a little bit out here. There we go. Good, good, good. Looking lovely. Liza, I don't know why you have trouble with greens. It kind of... Oh, see, I kind of got a bit of a hard line there, a hard edge, because I didn't pre-wet this like I did the other one. But that's okay. We're going to be coming back over it anyways. Either that or I just didn't work quite quickly enough to keep that wet edge. Right in here we got a little bit of tide lining in there, but we'll come back and we'll get it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Have to work quickly. Oh, I know why I'm struggling here. Because when I did it on the other ones, I used that larger brush. Now I'm using this much smaller brush, and I'm having to work more quickly, and put a little bit more effort into it to get the same result. I should have gone back and grabbed that little bit larger brush to do this. Could have done it in many fewer strokes. Okay, well, one of those things I got to remember. Okay, but look, there it is. Oh, it's almost painted itself there. Look, it looks fantastic already. It does. It looks nice back there. So we got these 3 beautiful leaves there. Oh, they look fantastic. It looks like it's got shine on it, doesn't it? It looks like you can see the leaves bending, and they got a little bit of shadow here and there. It looks so cool. Suika, you love perylene green. Interesting. Some botanical artists actually use sap green, but they always modify it with yellow or blue or red or even perylene green. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with giving yourself a little bit of a head start. Nothing at all wrong with that. Painting can be difficult enough on its own. Let's give ourselves every head start we can. I love perylene green. Okay, hold on one quick second. Now this is great. Live streaming. The host just gets up and walks away. But this is what I was looking for. But I came across this other day, and so oh, look, we don't even have perylene green on here. These aren't all, but these are the most popular M-gram colors. Perylene green isn't even on here. Natalie, you use sap green and modify it a lot. Sap green is here. I don't even know what perylene is. Interesting. I'm the novice in this group for sure. I don't know. I don't know about that. Susie, I went a little crazy and did mixes for purple and brown, swatches and small accordion booklets. Oh my god. French ultramarine will make sap green darker. Yeah. Michael is my brain. I have a few words I struggle to spell. Wait, where'd it go? I struggle to spell correctly, or a few numbers that I can't add up in my head. It's brain deficiency. We all have some of that. Quinacridone Gold will also make sap green darker. Ooh, that's a good color, Quinacridone Gold. So what good is life if you can't buy more paint? Exactly. Exactly. Life needs just a little bit more paint would make life a lot better. Okay. Yes, I will admit I'm stalling just a little bit because I have to wait for some of this to dry back in here. You know what I can do while I'm waiting for that to dry? Let's do this. Get a little bit of this burnt umber, a little bit of my phthalo green, and what'll darken that up a little bit. Ooh, that's a good color. I'm just looking back in here at, let's see, this is going to come up here. Oh, I've got a stem or two here that I'm just trying to put a little color to. Not sure. This can come down this way somehow. I guess maybe I didn't fully draw this out. But if we put something in here, I don't know, kind of like this, that would probably be a decent stem in here, right? Wait a minute. Is somebody actually doing some learning here, Susie? Am I supposed to be learning? I thought we were supposed to be swatching. There's be no learning in this live stream. That is strictly forbidden. The only thing you're allowed to do is talk paint and paper and enjoy yourself. That's it. No actual learning to be done. Oh, look! It looks back. You totally can see it back there, can't you? I like that. I do like that. Plus, we're getting this dried up now. I'll have to modify this a little bit to get this stem over here. Slightly different color. I don't know. It can come down here and here. I guess that's probably different enough. Let's send something else up off this way too. I don't know. There we go. We got a couple of stems in there. Let's be sisters. You guys are funny. You guys are so funny. I'm gonna soak up. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. I'm just laying the tip of my brush on there a little bit to try to look at all the paint I soaked up just from doing that. I'm gonna soak up just a little bit right here. Look at it. Look at how much. That's going to give me a little bit of a highlight right there just by doing that. Okay, now I think we're good to go over here. We're dark enough. Keep me away from PR83. What's wrong with PR83? PR83 likes you. All right, there we go. There's our dark color. Something along those lines. How do I want to do this now? Let's see. I'm actually going to start in here because I want to see what this is going to look like. All these other segments I started at one end and worked my way around. Here I'm going to start in the middle just because I've got so much that's behind these other areas. I kind of want to get a feel for what it's going to look like when I drop this color in. If it's even dark enough, I might need to go just a little darker than that. A little bit of dark right around there, and maybe a little bit out at the tips. Whoops, wrong. Michael, you don't want to know what I equate that ugly color with. Okay, all right. If it's not suitable for the internet, I don't want to know. I've got colors that I refuse to talk about. So, you know what? If you got one too, I will respect your feeling for the color. Harsh although it may be. Every time somebody says Viridian green to me, my eye starts twitching and I'm like, oh, please don't say Viridian. Part of that art class I took, the instructor, she couldn't understand that Viridian is not only one color. That Viridian is, everybody's Viridian is different. She didn't understand it. And I'm like, can I please not use Viridian from, well, anybody? Because one of the things that the chemicals that they use in Viridian does is it makes the paint extremely hard. And it doesn't wet nicely, and I don't enjoy using it. And she was like, yeah, but it's Viridian. You can just use it. It's fine. It's just Viridian. I'm like, oh, no. It's not just Viridian. There's a lot to Viridian. It's not just Viridian. There's a lot more to it. And she was like, no. Just use it. And I'm like, let's see. Uh-oh. Wait, is my head in? Oh, no. All right, thanks for telling me. I won't lean over quite as far. You didn't detect any bald spots. That's fine. Even if I go bald, it's fine. It's a little thinner than it used to be, but I will try to push everything back up so you don't have to look at my graying hair. I'm sorry about that. I actually thought about that because you don't see it on camera, of course, because the camera is there, but it's so much higher up in the air this week than it has been in previous weeks. I'm like, I wonder if I can do this without just plopping my head underneath there. And the answer is, I guess I can't. Who likes Viridian? All right, Sudike, that's it. Our friendship is over. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Oh, Viridian, no. No, no, no. Not gonna happen. Viridian and lemon yellow color make a wild lime green. They probably do. The thing is, right, Viridian is not that much different than phthalo green, which I totally adore. I just don't like the properties of Viridian. The properties of it make it such a horrible thing to use. I don't actually have a problem with the color of it, although for most Viridians, the intensity of the color, the saturation of the pigment, is usually much lighter than it is for the phthalos, which, again, I do very much enjoy. So I have a hard time. With them. All right, this is turning out to be much like the color above it, so I might have to pivot a little bit and use a little bit more of the cobalt in here so we don't end up with too much with these two being exactly the same. But you know what, I guess if they turn out mostly the same, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You like phthalo, but the stains too much. They do stain a lot. Yeah. They do stain a lot. Highly staining. Yeah. That's their one. That's one of the big drawbacks of phthalos, is that they stain a lot. Badly. Yep. I don't have an answer to that other than you're right. You're exactly right. They do. But I like them anyways. All right. Okay. All right. So, right, I'm looking at this. It's kind of looking nice. I'm trying to think back, right? We're partially done with this one. Let me mix it, get a little bit of yellow in there with this. And I'm trying to think, did this one look good partially through, or did it look a little awkward? And we fixed it as we kept going with it. We made it look more better. I think we made it look more better as we kept going with it. So I'm going to just keep right on rolling with this. And I'll bet you that this is going to start to look really good in a very short amount of time. Oops, I just dabbed paint onto my mouse for some reason. Well, I do have different contrast going on. Put a drop of red in that mix. Red would change it. Totally change it, wouldn't it? Am I brave enough to do that? That's the question. I don't know. A little bit of red. I'm not afraid of a little bit of red. Let's drop a little bit of red in here. Not sure on some of this what the red is going to do, because it's got quite a bit of the olive green in here, and that olive green sometimes soaks up quite a bit of the red, and you don't get the real effect that you might get if you were to mix it with a lighter green. But look at it. It's looking cool, right? Oh, I like it. It's time to get excited about it. I think it looks neat. I'm going to go right around this. I like to put right around these edges, right where these big holes are. I do like to put a bit of dark color. I think it just helps to accent it a little bit. It helps to make it look like it's curled a little bit and helps to accent it a little bit. So I really think that really sets it off that little bit. Yep. Ooh. Okay, so cool. Now that I've got everything wet here, I can go back up and do these few leaves up here and really get into everything. Now, let's see if we can do a few up here on this side. I can turn it upside down and know that everything is dry up here. I hope that, I really do hope everybody's enjoying this. I hope that even if you don't partake in the challenge officially, right? You're not entering something, not entering, it's not a competition. It's an exhibition, it's not a competition. Even if you don't put anything in the Discord channel to show your work for any of the challenges or anything, I hope that people take this away and go, okay, that's kind of a cool challenge. I'm gonna take that up and do it. And I get it. Couple of big constraints there, right? One is there's some technology issues that not everybody wants to do Discord, and not everybody wants to sign up for another service. I get it. I totally get it. I'm not suggesting anybody do that if they don't want to. And the other thing is that not everybody wants to put their artwork out there for others to see. I totally get that too. But that doesn't mean that you can't kind of take some enjoyment in doing some of these challenges, because if you're like me, I think I said this earlier, it was probably just Natalie and myself that were here. Might have been somebody else. Part of this whole thing, if you're at all like me, is that you want to paint, you like painting, you're willing to sit down and do some painting, but at some point you run out of ideas and you're like, oh, what do I paint now? Right? I've painted everything around the house. I've painted everything in the backyard. I've painted, I walk out to the local park and I've painted everything there, and I don't want to paint it again. I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. Totally fine. Get it. I totally get it. I'm there with you about 60, 70% of the time. I live in a beautiful area of the country. I'm not suggesting that others don't, because our country is wildly beautiful everywhere. Many, many, many places. Unbelievably beautiful. But it's just to say, I live in a beautiful area of the country that a lot of people would love to come to and visit and paint and take pictures of and everything. And I walk outside and I go, oh, I've painted that 8 times. I've painted that 6 times. And so take the challenge as just that. It's a challenge, something that probably you haven't painted before, something that maybe you haven't taken a deep dive into, and just kind of embrace it and just go, this could really be fun. And just approach it from that. Take the responsibility of having to come up with the idea off of you and put it on me, and just go with it from there. And I think that it really can be something that is fun and enjoyable, and that you can learn quite a bit from, even, like I said, even if you don't want to put yourself out there, which I totally get. Totally understand. And I wouldn't suggest that anybody do it if they're not comfortable with it. So, did I announce the next challenge yet? I haven't, but I have an idea. I was thinking about it today, right? So, it's it's kind of a tricky thing, right? It is, but it isn't, right? It's a bit of a tricky thing because I want to make something that is accessible and easy enough that people are going to want to do it. It's not so intricate. It's not like saying we paint the Eiffel Tower and you got 400,000 lines to paint this way and that way, right? But not so banal like paint an apple that you're just going to go shh and be done with. So I think I've come up with something that really could be interesting, but it will take a little bit of research on everybody's part to kind of get the image right. And I haven't done an image search for it yet, but when I say it, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm not 100% sure, but I'll tell you what I'm thinking if you want me to. You let me know if you want me to spill what my thought is right now. And if it is, I'm happy to tell you what it is in my thought process. Susie, you paint flowers and never even think of anything else. Liza, this time I'm with you. Flowers are difficult. I feel like they're difficult. Spill it, huh? Tracy says, spill it. So my thought was this. It's really an interesting, if you stop and think about it, it's an interesting subject. It's kind of plain, and you're going to go, I don't know about that. But when you put it in context with a lot of other things that are around this subject, you go, okay, there's a bit more there than initially meets the eye. So my thought was the challenge should be, you ready for this? Stairs. Okay? Now hang with me. Right? On initial thought, there's not a lot of interest in stairs, but you almost never have stairs by themselves. Okay? Just here, just in my little town, I've got stairs that go from, the main street here, we call it the Embarcadero, down to the beach. We've got stairs that go up the path that goes up to the big hill. It's right over here, right by my house, right? There's this big hill, almost a mountain. It just missed out on mountain status by a few feet. But there's stairs that go there. And then you've got this little path that goes with it, right? There are always stairs that lead somewhere. So the stairs themselves, they may be just a little bit of a teaser into it, because there's so much more that goes along with stairs. The stairs can be carpeted or uncarpeted, right? If you're going to do an interior staircase, that's cool, right? That's cool. It's probably going to be in a hallway. It's probably not going to be a straight shot. It could be, but there might be a turn on the stairs or a landing on the stairs. And if there's something at the landing, is there a focal point at the top of the stairs? Are you looking down? Is there a focal point at the bottom of the stairs, right? There's lots of times that stairs aren't just stairs. There's some interest that goes along with those. So I thought it was kind of a neat challenge. Excuse me. I thought it was kind of a neat challenge, right? And it would give you the opportunity to I have to get the ruler out of the stairs. Now, you don't need a ruler to do stairs. No. Maybe the staircase has some extra personality. Maybe it's old. Maybe that staircase has, I don't know, maybe it's out here, right? It's been through an earthquake. Maybe there's something else going on with that staircase, and it's just not quite, it's not quite parallel, right? The house I grew up in was this old farmhouse in Ohio, and the house itself was 110 years old, 115 years old. Well, it had settled. It didn't have a concrete foundation. It had field stones. Well, field stones plus 100 winters plus rain plus everything else. That foundation had shifted so many times. There was nothing that was square or level in that house when we lived there. So make your stairs just a little off, right? Some cool stuff that could happen on that staircase. Maybe that staircase tells a little story. I thought it was kind of a neat idea. That's all I'm saying. I feel like I'm working really hard to sell it. All I can tell you is I can't run up and down my stairs anymore like I used to. I hear you on that one. I can't do it either. I cannot. I wish I could, but it ain't gonna happen. But stairs, there could be some really real interest in stairs. Things that go on. Is there a handrail? What kind of handrail does it have? Is it wood? Is it wood stairs? Could be stone stairs, right? Could be field stone stairs. Why not? Could be stairs out in your garden. Nothing says it can't be in your garden, right? Maybe your garden has a couple of different levels to it, and you've got some stairs that connect them. Cool. I think that'd be a wonderful little study to do of some stairs that connect two levels of a little garden. Okay, cool. Susie's in. I sold it to one person. Oh, two. Tracy says it's an interesting challenge. Two. I got two. I'm going to try to find some reference photos. I'll put them up there. I've got lots of photos here of the park that's just south of us, Montagna de Oro Park, and there's lots of stairs on the trails there. And stairs don't have to be 100 stairs. They could be 3. Right? It could be 2. I guess they could be 2. Why not? Just a couple of stairs. I bet they tell a story. I'm sure they tell a story. Stairs are interesting. We're with you. Where you decide to go. CDK's in. Okay. All right. I just think it's kind of an interesting challenge. Of course, I thought Beatles were an interesting challenge too. All right, everybody's in. I'll post that tomorrow. Thank you for indulging me a little bit. Okay. Oh, this has got... Okay, so this one looks like maybe it's a little drier. As it turned out, right? This one's dried out maybe a little bit more. I'm trying to make up a story for my Monstera here. All right, this one's up here. It's soaked up a little bit more of the sunshine. There's a little bit more of the water. This one's green, slightly different variety, maybe sticks out a little bit more than I think I wanted to. And then this one back here, I do like, actually I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a little bit of glazing here. A little tiny bit of glazing. I'm going to make really light bit of blue. I just want to set this off a little bit. Ooh. But not pick up any paint from underneath. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. That little bit. Just that little bit. God, that was hardly any color even. That's amazing. That little bit of color just helped lift this whole thing shoop right up off the page. Actually, I'm pretty happy with this. I think I leaned a little bit too much on the brown here, but I think that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. I actually like it. 3 leaves here as a composition. And actually, if you look at the leaves over there, these two look very similar, and that one is different. But in my version of it, these two look very similar, and that one looks different. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, this one looks plastic. It looks like a real plant, but it looks you know what I mean? No, it's not imaginary, I guess, kind of what I'm saying. But it looks a little plasticky, and these two look really real. I think I should have stuck with the plan and done a little bit more green on here, a little bit more cobalt green and a little less of the brown. It would have made it brighter, pop a little bit more. I don't know. I like it though. I'm gonna sign this one. Ooh, that's rough. Okay, and we're gonna do a little bit of Soaring Heights Abject Disaster. Sherry, you're not late. You're right on time. Perfect timing. Okay, so some of the things I really like about this, right? And we've talked about it along the way. Well, first of all, I like the composition. It's simple, but it draws your eye in. There's a lot going on with all of these lines and indentations and holes and whatnot. But it's not so much that you don't look at this and immediately go 1 leaf, 2 leaf, 3 leaf, right? So I like that composition right off the top. I just noticed I've got for some reason I drew a bit of a branch going this way. And if I don't put it in, I've got this something drawn in with nothing there. Okay, cool. Done. Okay, so some of the other things I like the coloration on this one. Really dark in here. Got some lighter elements out by the side. It looks like light is reflecting off of that. Also on this one, lighter here. Could have gone lighter still. Light up here. and light down here, darker along the spine. It looks like it folds in like this. I love that. This one, much flatter, but still with the dark out here, it looks like those curl around. Got some dark in here, but it looks like it curls around on the outside. Really like that. Some of the things I'm not so happy about in here, and I'm going to take the blame for it. Well, of course I'm going to take the blame for it because I'm painting, but it's because I think I'm not quite as familiar with the paper as I should be. And if I can hold it up, I don't think I can get it close enough for you to see, but it's really pretty rough, right? It's almost a rough texture. It's right on the edge of that cold press texture and a rough texture. There's a lot of texture on this. I suppose I could use the backside, which is much smoother, but I prefer to use this side. As a result of that roughness, my veining in here just isn't quite as crisp and as clean. I think it shows up more on this one as I would like. And again, I'm not going to blame the paper. I'm going to blame my inexperience with using this paper on that. I had a lot of trepidation. I loved the base color of this one, and then started off with this weird blue, but I think we pulled it together and made this one work. But overall, this one kind of stands out as being a bit of an oddball. If it were just that, or if the other two were closer to that, I think you'd never notice it, and I think it'd be fantastic. Some of the other things on here, I had scribbled in a couple of, these stalks or stems. At this point, I don't know if I really needed those. I don't know if they add anything. If I were to do this again, I saw them on the reference photo, and I went, I'll just draw some lines in here, and we'll paint them in, and it'll be fine. I think if I were to do this one again, I wouldn't bother putting those in there. One other thing I think I really like is this shadow here, right? The fact that this is so light, darker, lighter, comes around. It looks like it curves around, and then this dark shadow underneath. I think it really looks nice. So, anyway, this is my version of the challenge. I actually think it turned out really nice. I'm really happy with it, I have to say. The only thing I'm not so happy with is that you all had to look at the top of my head because my camera is so far up there. I could grab it and pull it down. You can see it. Boom. You can see it over here, right in front of me. It's just on a little arm, and I just raise it and lower it, and that's my zoom. That's my manual zoom. There we go. Let's get it. Well, that's not even where it was. Let's get it back into shape there. You see my microphone. So that's it. Next month for our challenge, we'll do stairs. I'll put a few photos up, or link to some photos up that you can attempt if you want to attempt one of those, or if you want to find your own stair picture. That'd be awesome. I'll find something to paint for stairs for, gosh, I guess I should have thought of that before I made that challenge. I'll have to think of something to do for next challenge. And then hang on one second. I know I keep saying hang on one second, and then I keep running away. I've got some fun things that we may do on Wednesday night. We may not do on Wednesday night. I've always had this fascination with repainting masterwork paintings. So this is Woman with a Pearl Earring. If anybody knows that famous painting, I was going to try that. Then it's going to do some architecture. This is a little village population 11 up north of here in a town called Harmony, California. There's a little chapel. People get married here. This is a pottery, and there's a glass blower here. So some architecture here. This is one you can just barely see it. Storefront, general store in Edna Valley, which is a little bit south of here. So one that I might do. And then because I was gonna do a kingfisher on here. I've drawn a couple of other ones. I might do one on here. I might not. I don't know. Still deciding on that. But again, this one, look at this one's so much bigger. This is more along the size I would normally do. And then look at how much bigger it is. So some things coming up to look for, and some directions we might take it. Anyways, you love Tracy. You love the girl with the pearl earring. That's that one. It's such an enigmatic oil painting. I was like, I don't know. It's such an oddball thing because really, that's what you're gonna back in the day. That's what you're gonna spend your money to have painted. But whatever. It's a fantastic painting. So I was gonna give that a try, and I was gonna do maybe like The Scream by Edward Munch and some other ones, and just have some fun with it. Anyway, that's all I've got for you all. Holy cow, we're at almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. It went by like that, I promise you. So I would just want to say thank you to everybody for coming and keeping me keeping me company on this Wednesday evening. I enjoyed having all of you here with me. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I hope you'll be able to join me back here next Wednesday, back in the studio. Until then, thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.